es la ciencia.
I'm all in.
All in.
What's up, boys?
How we doing?
We're about to go play another session at the Hideaway, but for the video you're watching now, I played a solo session. Frankie and Jello played a duo session. Boys and girls, there comes a time in every gambler's life where they realize that they're a true degen, and in my opinion, that moment is when they go by themselves. It's a solo one for me today, guys. Jello and Frankie are busy with school. I got nothing to do. Thanksgiving's on Thursday. People have already gone home. I'm one of the few people left in Dallas. I'll keep you guys posted. Peace.
What is going on, guys? Next Gen back here at the Hideaway, ready to run a little 1-2 action again. Rosie's not here, unfortunately, still on Thanksgiving break. We're missing you, Rosey.
He'll be back from San Diego, boys. Hey, just quick announcement. Check out the new maroon merch. Hope you guys like it. We got some
light gray
maroon. We're just bringing out some new things for you guys to try out for Christmas. Get those holiday actions going. All right.
We'll see you boys in there.
$300 buy-in. Same old stuff at the Hideaway. Let's go.
Just your friendly reminder to be like Poker Degen 20, be like Tyler, and be like Charles. These guys got the great merch, repping Next Gen Poker, nextgenpokershop.com. Send us a picture of you rocking the dope merch. You'll be in a video like these guys. We love you guys. Now let's get into the hands. Peace. First hand for me, we look down at Ace 10 of Hearts in the hijack. Folds to me, I raised $10, and the cutoff, who is a very loose player, calls. We are going heads up to a flop, which comes Ace 10 Jack, 2 diamonds, 1 heart. Pretty cool flop. I c-bet for $12, and he makes the call. When the turn is a black 7, I think it's time to size up and charge draws, so I size up to $30. He makes the call. The river is a pretty interesting one. It is the black 10, the 10 of clubs. So now we boat up, and now it's decision time. I am debating whether or not to bet here to try to get value from Ace X holdings, or checking river and allowing him to bluff with missed draws, as the most obvious draws did miss. There's a lot of value to be had from weaker aces, and I don't want to lose out on that because I think weaker aces will just take this to showdown. So for that reason, I elect to bet $75 into a pot of 107. He thinks about it and makes the fold. So maybe, given the loose player type, we should be checking this river and hoping he fires with a variety of missed draws. But I like us targeting that Ace X that is going to check back, and then we're bummed that we didn't get any more money out of it. So we take this first one down, on to the next one.
Little fun fact, boys. The player to our left is the action player from my birthday. 21st video when I made almost $1,000. I'm going to try to keep getting in hands with him. He's raising 3-4 offsuit to $25 pre-flop.
With all that being said, let's get to the hand. We look down at a pretty one, 6-7 of spades, nice suited connector. The hijack limps for $2, cutoff raises it up to 17. And I'm going to be making a call here in position. It's very, very active table. Well, not exactly what we want to see. The action player to our left bumps it up to $60. And now I'm going to be in position of the player, and I'm hoping to see some calls from the other two players because that will give me better pot odds to call, but no, they end up both folding. And now we just got to just see the math of this and see if it's going to be profitable to make a call here. The pot is almost $100, and it's going to be $40 more to call, around $40 more to call. So I'm getting a little better than 2-to-1 pot odds. That means my hand needs at least 35% equity to make a call, and I feel like my 6-7 spade is going to have 35% equity majority of the time against his loose pre-flop raising range. So I do make a call, and we get a pretty nice flop for us. It comes 8 ace 9, so we get the backdoor flush draw, and more importantly the open-ended straight draw. But the big bar does not slow down. He leads for a big hefty bet of $95, which is the pod, and now it is up to a decision. If I make a call here, I only have about $120 left behind. If I make a call here on the flop, I'm going to be making a call on the turn. So I decided to just rip it all in and get my stack in there. The problem with this play is I don't have much fold equity. Even if he was bluffing on that flop, If my stack was bigger, around $500, I'd like this play a lot more. But now it's pretty gambly as I jam it all in for $210. And just knowing him and the type of action player he is, he's not going to be folding almost any hand ever here. So he does make a call, hoping to improve. Let's go to a turn, the 4. Oh, there it is, the 10 of diamonds. We bink there on the river. I toss over the straight, and I am obviously going to be good here. He told me later that he had pocket 10s, so he did call me loose on the flop. He had 2 of my outs, but we still get there on the river and scoop home a big pot.
Here's a fun one for you guys. We're in the big blind here, and we look down at one of my favorite hands in the game, pocket aces. We see 2 limps, and the cutoff, who's been raising pretty big tonight, bets $25. She's a really aggressive player, and when it folds around to me, I decide I can definitely put in a 3-bet, but I want to keep her calling range wide, so I only 3-bet to $65, figuring this is probably going to get the limpers out fairly quickly, which it does. Folds back around to her, and she thinks about it for a while before ultimately tossing in the call. We're off to a flop, and it is a pretty one, I might say. 7 ace 7, so we flop the boat. We've got this board so locked down. I think I just only have one option here, and it's definitely the check. So I make the check here, hoping to induce a bet from this aggressive player. However, that's not the case. She checks back to me. On the turn, we see a queen of clubs. Not a bad card for me. However, I still have this board really locked down, and again, we're up against a super aggressive player. Her range is pretty wide right now, so I check. And after I check to her, she stacks out chips and throws in a bet of $80. I decide it's time to stop being cute here, and I think it's best to throw in a check raise here. I decide to check raise to $175. This is kind of a low check raise, but that's only because I had about 230 in my stack, so it's kind of an awkward sizing for me. I did want to leave a little bit for a river bet, and I also thought a jam would look a little bit too strong and would get her queen holdings to fold out immediately. After this raise, the cutoff calls fairly quickly, and we're off to a river, which is the deuce of spades. You know what they say, the deuce never changes anything on the river. I rip it in here for $52. She snap calls me. We flip over the goods, and we take down a massive pot. What a great way to start the session, especially being so card dead. Always nice to pick up a little hand like that and double up off aces.
In this hand, we look down at ace, queen of spades, under the gun. I raise it up to $12, playing 1-2, and we get 5 callers to my 6x raise. So maybe we need to be open raising to 20 in Texas, ladies and gents. We're going 6 ways to a flop, hoping to just crush it. 9, 10, jack, all spades. I'm dreaming, I think. I mean, we have the nut flush, open-ended straight flush draw, royal flush draw. The world is in our hands. I bet $40 and we get 2 callers. We are heading to a turn. And for the first time in my life, I can say, the turn is the 8 of spades. We hit the straight flush. Now, there's a chance I play the rest of this hand wrong. I have never hit a straight flush before, and I'm freaking out. Very much freaking out as this hand started 6 ways out of position. We now have a straight flush. Let's see what we can do. I decide that me having the ace of spades is actually not great because I want someone to have the nut flush here. The board is so connected, everything's going to be terrified of everything. So I actually check the straight flush. And luckily, middle position does the betting for me. Bets $40. The other guy folds, it's back to me. Now, question is raise or call. If we're putting him on king of spades or 7 of spades, if I raise here, he will likely get it all in with the 7 of spades, and he will likely fold the king of spades, as we know he doesn't have the ace. And the king of spades is kind of just a bluff catcher at that point. So I elect to just smooth call here and under-rep my hand. The river is a red 4. Brick City. I obviously don't want him to check back with the king, and I think obviously the 7 will call.
I'm all in.
All in.
So I rip it all in for around $200. He goes into the tank. He ends up folding the king of spades face up. So I'm not sure what I could have done differently. I probably could have done something differently. Let me know how you guys play your straight flushes when you get them. But we take down a nice pot with the best hand ever recorded in the history of my career. On to the next one.
In this hand, we are in the big blind, and we look down at Jack 10 offsuit. Not a great hand. But after the small blind limps to $4, I go for a raise to 20. And the reason I do this is because this is a hand I normally would like to just limp to the straddler. But because the player to my left is hyper aggressive, he literally always raises it pre-flop. So instead of letting him just raise it and going for the limp call action, I decided to raise it myself. Called raise to 20, and unfortunately no one folds. The straddler calls and the small blind calls. We go to a flop, which comes 7, 9, 5, 2 clubs. I decided to c-bet this flop $25. I could fold out worse hands, and just in case I do have that gutter to the straight draw and 2 overs. We see the straddler make the call, and again the small blind lingers around, so we're not getting many folds today. Planning on shutting down on the turn. But if the turn is a decent card, boys and girls, it is the 8 of diamonds, the Gin card. Now there are 2 flush draws on the board. I have the absolute stone cold nuts. And now it's all about sizing here, as I want to be charging the flush draws, as either opponent could have backdoored another flush draw or have a straight here themselves. So I decided to go for a sizing of $90, just under $100. As $100, it looks like a very strong bet. I think I can be repping over pairs here majority of the time, or I can be repping ace-9 potentially, or I can be repping ace-6. So a couple cards in my range here that I'd be betting around $90 for. And the good news does not end with just the action on the board, as the player in the small blind re-raises me to $200. Sitting here with the absolute nuts, guys. There's really nothing to do here. Literally nothing to do. Don't tank. Don't do anything. I jam it all in because I only have 120 more, and he snap calls me. Going to river with the nuts, hoping for a non-diamond, mostly a non-club card though. Ugh, the 7 of diamonds, not great. I table my hand, and you know what, guys? We are still good here, as the opponent shows us 7-6. Nice to luck box myself into another great hand. The early raise of Jackson offsuit pays off for a very large pot. Well, boys, this session got big quick.
We've only played 1 or 2 hands after that aces hand, and we look down in the big blind at my good friend pocket fours. Under the gun limps, and it folds around to middle position, who raises it up to $15. He's a pretty aggressive player at the table, been firing a lot of big bluffs, so I'm happy to make a call here and set mine, see if we can hit a nice hand against him. Under the gun calls as well. We're off to the flop 3 ways, and it comes 4-10-2. We smack it, flop to set. I quickly check, and under the gun checks as well. Middle position thinks about it for a while before tossing in a bet to the tune of $25. I definitely consider raising here, however, I want to keep all of his bluffs in his hand. He's been showing over some pretty crazy cards throughout the session, and that really affects how I play the rest of the hand. Under the gun makes a fold, and we see a turn of the king of clubs. Again, I still decide to slow play this hand. I want to keep all his bluffs in and keep him weak. I want him to think that I have a 10x holding, and I want him to try to bluff me out of the pot because I'm ready to call and stack him. He bets $60 on this turn. A raise is for sure merited here. However, I want to keep his bluffs in because, again, he can have pretty much any 2 cards right here. He does some table talk to me. I'll let you guys listen in.
I'm thinking.
That can get you in trouble.
I'm thinking that you're bluffing.
That's fair. I've done it a few times.
Well, alright. I don't really know what to think about that. However, it doesn't really make sense for him to keep barreling on that king if he had a 10x holding or some strong hand like that. So I just make the call considering he could have a lot of bluffs. The river is the 6 of spades, so the flush draw gets there. Kind of a scare card for me, and I'm prepared to call a bet. However, I decide to check it down, try to get the showdown here. He's very quick to shove it all in here. He has $154 in his stack to be exact. I think about it for a while before I just decide I have to call. I've underrep my hand so much here, and he can have pretty much any 2 cards like I said before. However, this time he smacked it. He shows 8-5 of spades. He opens that for $15. I guess he's going to get paid some of the times. I for sure wish I re-raised the flop or the turn. However, I don't think this guy was going to be going anywhere. I think we were going to get stacked regardless.
This hand, we look down at my favorite hand. Pocket aces in middle position. Under the gun +1 raises to $10. We are going to be raising it up. I 3-bet to $30. It folds all the way back to him, and he makes the call. So we're going heads up to a flop. Flop comes Jack 8-4 rainbow, and when he checks, I'm actually going to check back on this board a percentage of the time. I want him to think I'm weak here, and I have a tight table image, so I think me checking on this really dry board is going to give him the thinking that I have ace king, ace queen, those type of hands that are not loving it. So when I check, the turn is the 5 of hearts, and he does now bet for $30. Now, this is where I think I make the most crucial mistake, and I just flat call. I think this needs to be a raise, especially because we're not betting on the flop. We got to get money into this pot. There are now draws to be getting value from, and we have pocket aces. Let's get some money in the pot here. So I just call, which I think is a mistake. The river is the queen of hearts. It is the 3rd heart. So either he could now have his beat, or this is just an action killer. So definitely more of a reason we should be getting money into the pot before the river. He bets $50. We're getting good odds. We're just going to shrug and call here. He flips over pocket kings. So he elected to just flat our 3-bet pre-flop. We somehow don't get stacks in on this cooler. I mean, obviously I'm not complaining. Check out the pot size. We take home an over 100 big blind pot. But when it's aces versus kings and you have the aces, you really want to get all the money in. Definitely don't think I played the hand perfectly. Maybe we can bet flop. Maybe we should be raising turn at the least. We take this one down. Could have been played better. A win is a win. Always looking to improve though. In the past 30 minutes, we have hit our straight flush and ran aces into kings. Aces, kings. He said it's the first time he's ever not 4-betted kings. So good timing, bud. So we don't make a lot. We make a still chunk there. I mean, this day is insane. Rosey's solo adventures are pretty crazy right now. We'll see what we can do next, but I don't know what can top that. Maybe a royal, right? I'll keep you guys posted.
We just had our biggest cash of our lives, bought in for $300 and cashed for a clean $13.50. I'm blessed and very thankful that this happened. I was on a little downswing, as you guys probably knew, at that TCH session. So this erased my loss at TCH.
Boys and girls, do you ever have one of those nights where it just feels like you cannot lose? Well, I haven't until tonight when I went on a little solo adventure from a straight flush to running aces into kings to just hitting everything left and right. In for 300, out for 750, profit of $450. Probably shouldn't say that so loud in the parking lot by myself, but yeah, a phenomenal session.
Been going on a little bit of a losing streak, but that's okay. We'll make it back. Hopefully in the future with keep studying, getting better. Went down just a little under 150 tonight, unfortunately, even after that aces double up. So that was unfortunate, and we dwindled our stack. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.